wealthy family found me. The real young master. I'd already dropped out and been working for 3 years. The fake young master, a top student, volunteered to tutor me. 3 months later, on a test worth 100 points, I scored less than double digits. I opened my eyes and, seeing the dilapidated rental room, I knew I had been reborn. Soon the landlady's voice came to my ears. "Are you looking for Ethan? You must be mistaken. There's a rich man's Oak Grove Manor nearby. If you don't know the way, I can point you there. We're from the neighboring Oak Grove Manor." I opened the door of my own accord, and, seeing me, my biological parents, Mr. Robert and Mrs. Margaret, dressed head to toe in luxury goods, suddenly burst into tears of excitement and threw themselves at me, holding me tightly in their arms. "Child, I am your real father. I am your real mother. You were my child, sob, when you were little someone maliciously swapped you. You suffered, sob. In my previous life, I faced the earth-shattering turn of fate with a numb, helpless face. This time, I fixed my gaze unblinkingly on the imposter Liam across from me, who had stolen my 18 years of wealth and status. This refined, delicate boy held himself stiffly, his eyes carrying timid guilt and unease. I restrained my emotions and kept up a numb, submissive expression as if at the mercy of fate. Faced with my wooden demeanor, Liam dropped his act. His face returned to indifference, laced with a barely perceptible cruelty. The Valley Village and Oakwood Manor were only 10 minutes apart. On the way, my parents filled me in on the family. Besides them, I had an older sister, Olivia, and an older brother. When Robert mentioned my brother, his excited tone calmed. Liam is someone we watched grow up. He's kind and sensible. He wouldn't even hurt Nat. His grades are excellent. He's first in his year every year. Child, you must continue your studies. This summer let Liam tutor you. I understood what Mr. Robert meant. He wanted me to get along with Liam and not hold his adoptive parents' mistreatment of me against him. Liam was good-looking, studied hard, capable, and emotionally intelligent. After more than 10 years of harmonious living, he had developed deep familial bonds with my parents and sister. In my previous life, I misread Mr. Robert's well-meaning intentions. Combined with my real eagerness to study and my natural liking for high achievers, I agreed and looked forward to his tutoring with all my heart. Before I could speak, Liam eagerly said, "Dad, Mom, don't worry. This summer I won't go anywhere. I'll stay home and focus on tutoring my brother. I'll make sure he can enter school directly into second-year high school. In 2 years, he'll be able to take the National College Entrance Exam." 3 years ago, I had only attended the first year of high school for 4.5 days before my awful adoptive parents, George and Linda, hauled me off to work at a relative's factory. So I was 3 years behind my peers in schooling. Liam promised our parents that he would make me miss only 1 year of schooling, and that was one reason I let down my guard in my previous life, naively believing he was atoning on behalf of our adoptive parents. Just as my parents were feeling gratified by Liam's thoughtfulness, I spoke up considerately. I've seen on TV that wealthy people have numerous vacation options. In summer they go to the Arctic to see polar bears, and in winter they go to the Antarctic to see penguins, leaving my brother at home to tutor me. Wouldn't that be a waste? I think we could hire a top student or one of the top scorers from this year's National College Entrance Exam to tutor me. That would be better. My words caused a flicker of embarrassment to cross their faces, and Liam lowered his head in silence even more. What do you mean we're rich? Mr. Robert teased me with a laugh. My money is your money. I'll make you rich right away. I'll transfer the 360 square meter big house in Imperial Garden to you immediately, and the Riverside Villa will be put in your name as well. Pick whichever car you like from my garage and drive a few of them. I'll also set up a fund for you, so you can get $250,000 pocket money every month. Your brother and sister only get $200,000 a month. After everything you've suffered, I owe you more compensation. In my previous life, he didn't spend so lavishly, especially after he lost hope in me. It seems that playing the sufferer a bit and seizing their momentary guilt really works. I continued, "Oh, I don't have a driver's license. I can't even ride a bicycle." Mr. Robert was momentarily taken aback, then said, "Next time you have a holiday, I'll arrange for you to take driving lessons." Having achieved my aim, I asked obediently about the tutoring for my schoolwork. "Since your brother has already agreed, you can accept it without worry. Ethan, I'm not the kind of person you say likes to play around. I really want to treat you well. I know my biological parents did evil and caused you." At this, Liam's eyes reddened. He sniffed and sobbed. "So I want to make it up to you properly. Please give me this chance. Don't call me Ethan. I don't like the name George and Linda gave me. It's too slapdash and casual, not respectful at all. It sounds like they just picked something offhand. I'll give myself a new name." My comment made the atmosphere awkward again. Liam's sobs were particularly jarring. No one paid attention to my declaring a new name. Instead, they went to comfort the eldest son who had always brought them face. Mrs. Margaret held Liam tightly and soothed him in a gentle voice. "Child, this isn't your fault. You will always be our good child. There will always be a place for you in this family." After they had calmed him down somewhat, I announced my new name, Ethan Johnson. I will make a name for myself in the future. When it came to tutoring me, Liam was unusually eager. But after a whole day of lessons, my mind was in chaos. I knew most of what he taught was wrong, even inverted, a pure waste of my time. Once evening finally belonged to me. I opened my laptop, searched for lectures by well-known professors, and began to teach myself. The next day I came downstairs with a pair of dark circles under my eyes. Mr. Robert looked at me with concern and said, "Ethan, you don't have to work so hard. We have 3 months to learn slowly. Your brother is so capable. He'll surely be able to teach you." Mrs. Margaret also said, "We've already made arrangements with Dr. James Carter, the principal. The test they'll give you won't be too hard. We'll enter the school's regular class first. In the remaining 2 years, work a bit harder and aim to get into a top university like your brother and sister." I rubbed my head and said, "My head does feel a bit dizzy today. Can I rest for 1 day?" "1 day won't do. Half a day then," Liam said sternly. Mr. Robert gave Liam a satisfied look. "Listen to your brother. Just half a day." "Liam, how did Ethan do with his lessons yesterday?" Liam replied, "His fundamentals are still very weak. Then, I'll do my best to help him catch up." Mr. Robert patted his shoulder with relief. Finally, on the day the college students went on break, I told my parents, "Dad, Mom, can I invite my friend to visit our home?" No sooner had I finished speaking than Liam immediately asked sensitively, "What friend?" "A friend I met while working at the factory." At those words, Liam secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Olivia showed her dislike without hiding it. "Why bring a friend from the factory into the house? You're a student now. Stay away from those people." I said, "He's a very close friend who has always cared about me, so..." Mr. Robert, who had been full of doubt, changed his tune when he heard this and said, "If he's your friend, then he's our guest too. We can't let outsiders think we're petty. However, you can only play near the villa for 2 hours. I didn't invite Noah over just to hang out. In the afternoon, the family happened to be having tea in the first floor living room, so I led Noah over to say hello. Seeing the dignified Noah, subtle changes appeared on each person's face. Noah, last year's National College Entrance Exam top scorer. Before I could introduce him, Olivia was the first to announce his name and status. Liam's face went instantly deathly pale, and he swallowed nervously. My parents hurriedly rose and invited Noah to sit at the table. Mr. Robert complained to me, "Didn't you say your friend worked with you?" Noah said graciously, "Uncle, I did work in a factory. Every winter and summer break, I would go to the factory to earn money and save for living expenses." Olivia stared at Noah with stars in her eyes and couldn't wait to say, "That's right. That's exactly like what the news says." Noah smiled faintly and continued, "That's when I met Ethan. He was so eager to study and really envied me. It was heartbreaking to see. Now seeing him find such good biological parents and pick up his books again, I'm truly happy for him. Since classmate Noah is the national top scorer, Could you help plan a study program for our Ethan? Mrs. Margaret's words were cut off by Liam. Mom, Ethan has me. Liam hurriedly said, the Gaokao champion is just visiting and only has 2 hours, so don't bother our guest. Noah immediately replied, it's fine. I came today to learn about Ethan's schoolwork and brought a set of practice exams I compiled. After he finishes them, I have a pretty good idea of his fundamentals. Mr. Noah, my brother's schoolwork is my responsibility. Liam struggled to stay calm. I don't mind having one more teacher, I said. Right, the more the better. Mrs. Margaret agreed. You don't trust me, Liam said, his face full of disappointment. I walked over and patted his shoulder. Bro, don't say that. You and Brother Noah are both teachers I want to consult. Liam's face grew even more ashen. To the family. He cared about me too much, which was why he was so agitated. I picked up a plate of fruit and said to Olivia, do you want to come to the study and listen? Olivia immediately sprang up from her chair and trotted after us cheerfully. Noah looked at my exercise book, frowning. These problems are clearly marked wrong. Why are they ticked? And all these English grammar answers are wrong. Present continuous and past tense are completely reversed, and the capital of Argentina is written wrong too, with an extra character. In my last life, I also noticed some things were off, but Liam told me that the rural school I used to attend had backward and irregular teaching, while the aristocratic private school in his city had advanced and efficient educational resources. So, I should listen to him, and I couldn't go wrong. For that, he even specially printed a set of fake textbooks for me. At the time, I completely believed his straight-A student persona and actually fell for his lies. Noah patted my shoulder encouragingly and said, there are still 2 or 3 years until the National University entrance exam. Ethan still has a very good chance. Olivia took my exercise book and looked at it in bafflement. I didn't read that wrong, did I? Suddenly, Liam rushed in, snatched my exercise book, and awkwardly said, this is my teaching method. You don't understand it. In a while, Ethan will naturally discover these problems. Olivia tilted her head and stared at his face. Liam, why is your face so red? Your ears are almost cooked. At dinner, Noah stayed home to eat. As soon as the meal started, Liam couldn't wait to say, Mom, Dad, I've decided. Leave my brother's studies to tutor Noah the top scorer. He's more experienced than I am. He panicked. If he didn't back down, his scheme would be exposed. In a last life, I scored under double digits on the 100-point entrance exam. Mr. Robert couldn't accept his own son being so hopeless, grew more and more disappointed in me, and gradually neglected me. This time, although I couldn't directly unmask Liam, at least I kept my time in my schoolwork. The top of the grade and the national top scorer. Any fool knows whom to pick. Fortunately, No, it didn't refuse the family's enthusiastic invitation and generous pay and became my tutor. And those fake textbooks that had been swapped out for mine were replaced with real ones overnight. Half a month later, the wealthy organized an aristocratic equestrian tournament. Apart from me, everyone in our family had practiced riding since childhood. Because I needed to spend my time on remedial studies, these aristocratic activities were temporarily out of my reach. But Mr. Robert still hoped I could experience a little of the sport's charm and take the opportunity to show my face in high society. So a few days in advance, he hired a senior riding instructor and prepared a docile young pony for me. I practiced riding for an hour every day. Finally, the day of the equestrian gathering arrived. The rich dressed impeccably and gathered at Starch Dust Stables, the largest equestrian venue in the city. I forgot to mention, Liam is also an exceptionally skilled rider. At the annual equestrian gathering, he always performs a solo equestrian routine that wins thunderous applause and gives Mr. Robert immense pride. Amid joyful cheers and whistles, Liam once again completed his performance flawlessly. He reined his spirited steed to a stop before his family, shining like a triumphant hero. After dismounting, he had the groom lead his horse away, then took the reins from the groom and handed the gentle little pony to me, saying considerately, "Ethan, enjoy the festivities today. I'll be watching nearby, don't worry." Thanks to him, all the attention that had been on him shifted to me, and I was about to steal his limelight. In my previous life, I had mounted the horse unprepared, tapped its rump lightly, and the usually meek pony suddenly went wild, bucking and then bolting. I screamed in terror on its back and was soon thrown off. One foot got caught in the stirrup and I was dragged for over 10 meters. I became the laughingstock of the whole event, with the cold-blooded onlookers and the plants Liam had brought in mocking me mercilessly, making my humiliation even worse. Later, a kind and highly skilled equestrian rescued me, but before I could thank him, everything went black and I fainted. When I woke up, I was in a hospital bed with my family standing beside me. I noticed the looks my parents gave me. There was none of the brightness there had been before. As I continued to make a fool of myself again and again, that light gradually faded away. Pulling my thoughts back, I looked Liam straight in the eye, suddenly curved my lips into a smile, reached out and affectionately stroked the foal, and finally gave it a moderate pat on its rump. The foal, which had been deliberately frightened the night before, leaped wildly and then bolted forward, and in an instant it was gone. The scene erupted. People gasped and nearly fainted. If things had gone differently, I would have been crushed under the horse. Liam's face turned deathly pale as he explained to his startled parents. "This foal has always been very gentle. I don't know why it suddenly got spooked. I'll have it looked into when I get back. Mr. Robert comforted me. We won't ride today. After you're successfully enrolled, your father will arrange the best trainer for you. They thought I was just as frightened. I silently turned and left the crowd, my back looking particularly dejected. After a while, I led back a gleaming golden Ackeltech horse. The crowd erupted again. Even these well-traveled wealthy elites rarely saw such a beautiful horse. Not because they couldn't afford one, but because even with money it's hard to find. Under all those eyes, I swung up into the saddle with ease. I didn't rush. I rode the horse proudly, strolling across the green field. Just by virtue of the horse, I drew everyone's attention. After circling half the arena and soaking up the spotlight, I softly called "Giddy up," and the horse broke into a trot. The galloping steed was lithe, elegant, and noble. Countless cameras were trained on us, screams, cheers, and whistles ringing out non-stop. I had the horse clear a few simple jumps, not too flashy, where it wouldn't fit the clumsy young master's persona I had just reclaimed. Having completed the highlight performance of today's equestrian event, I returned triumphant. My parents and Olivia looked at me with pride and excitement. When they glanced at Liam, his face had gone green. When our eyes met, he forced a smile. I deliberately leaned toward him and asked, "Brother, how did I ride?" He gave me a thumbs up. "Amazing. But where did you get that fine horse?" A kind old lady saw me upset and rented it to me. It cost me $125,000 of pocket money for an afternoon. In my previous life, because I made a fool of myself while riding and saw for the first time the look of disappointment on my parents' faces, I secretly learned horsemanship, hoping to use it to make a splash and restore my parents' lost pride. During that time, I not only mastered exquisite riding skills, but also met the owner of an Ackeltech, Emma Thompson, and became friends with her. In this life, I met Emma in the same way and rented her horse the same way. A few of Mr. Robert's business partners came over, smiling as they praised. "Mr. Davis is truly fortunate. Both sons are so outstanding. But I'm really curious. Ethan only just returned. How could he put on such a spectacular performance?" I lifted my chin slightly. Innate. It's in my blood. The adults burst out laughing at my confidence, and Mr. Robert looked even prouder. The smile on Liam's face was painfully stiff, clearly forced. He probably couldn't understand why I suddenly slapped the horse's rump, and yet managed to find such a fine mount. In September, I successfully passed the entrance exam that the Xavier Noble Schools Board set up specifically for me and entered the second year of high school. My family was very happy and held a welcome dinner to celebrate my enrollment. In my previous life, because I failed the exam, I could only start from the first year and never had this part of the story. There is a custom among the wealthy circle my family belongs to. Whenever a child holds an enrollment celebration, they turn it into a talent show style gala. These kids have been competing since childhood, diligently practicing piano, violin, cello, saxophone, drums, and various other instruments. Having learned so many skills, they naturally seize the chance to show off, and the parents are pleased to encourage it. My enrollment celebration was no exception. Liam was the host of tonight's dinner and also a performing guest. Each child went on stage one by one to sing, play, and perform. There were also magic acts, street dance, and comic duos, making for a lively scene, though some kids showed obvious reluctance on their faces. The last performance was Liam's saxophone solo. The flowing melody combined with his immersed playing left the audience spellbound. I have to admit, the kid has real talent. Otherwise he wouldn't enjoy such unwavering favoritism from his parents. When the piece ended, warm applause erupted from the audience, bringing the dinner to its climax. But Liam didn't leave the stage. He stood at the podium, turned his gaze to me, and smiled. For the final act, please welcome tonight's guest of honor, Ethan Johnson, to give us a performance. The room fell silent in an instant. Every eye turned to me. My parents looked anxious. Before we set out, I had made it clear I wouldn't perform. I only know the work in the factory and the restaurant. There really isn't anything to show. My brother never had the chance to learn any talents when he was young, but today is his moment. Let's invite him on stage. Even if he sings a song, recites a poem, or simply introduces himself, that would be fine. Liam's words both put me on the spot and seemed to offer me a way out. You all shine on stage. If I go up, I'll either sing off-key or recite a poem flatly with no feeling. Mother already introduced me, so repeating it would be pointless. I rose quietly and walked toward the stage. Passing my parents, they whispered, "Don't be nervous. Say a few words and come down." I gave a slight smile, showing no sign of stage fright. Reaching the center of the stage, I pulled a slightly worn harmonica from my pocket and said into the microphone, "Next I'll play Moon River for everyone." Thank you. The entire room fell so silent you could hear a pin drop. Everyone watched with bated breath, some waiting to see me make a fool of myself. When the piece ended, there was a few seconds of quiet before enthusiastic applause erupted. My family clapped especially hard. Only Liam's face was stiff. In the corner, Emma, owner of the Haltage Beck gelding, jumped up excitedly. "One more song," she shouted, her voice full of vigor. We won her over back then, and made her willing to lend me the horse. Was that I played the harmonica for her. That night, I played all evening until my lips were chapped. I still owed her 9 nights of performances. I nodded slightly to Emma and leaned into the microphone. Next is Yesterday once more. thank you. After that, I went on to play my way, Old Lang Syne, time to say goodbye. This scene hadn't existed in my previous life, but I suspected Liam might try the same trick again, so I had prepared. These classic old songs were taught to me by Uncle, and they hit the nostalgic chords of the middle-aged crowd perfectly. The uncles and aunties went wild, even humming along with the music. I somehow turned a high school freshman welcome banquet into a middle-aged party. On the stretch limousine back, Mr. Robert held my hand tightly and asked, "Ethan, where did you learn to play the harmonica?" I replied calmly, "I was out of work for a while and ended up drifting on the streets. I met a homeless uncle named Arthur Wilson. We picked up trash together during the day, and at night he taught me to play the harmonica. After we parted, I bought sheet music and taught myself. After I finished, the carriage fell into a brief silence. I saw Mrs. Margaret's eyes redden again. Son, you suffered." Mr. Robert composed himself and said, "What about that Uncle Arthur? I want to properly repay him. He once wanted to give me a home, but then he disappeared." I lowered my head and unconsciously touched the scarred back of my hand. A pair of kind hands took mine. Mr. Roberts said, "Ethan, your father said he would make it up to you. How about this? I'll give you another large flat in the central business district. Playing the victim really worked on this old man. Can I exchange it for 2 smaller apartments instead?" I asked. "Why?" Mr. Robert asked, puzzled. "It's convenient to rent them out. Big houses are hard to rent. Small houses find tenants more easily. I live at home now and may live in the school dorm later. Those mansions aren't needed for the moment. Better to rent them out and earn more money." Mr. Robert pointed at me with pride. "Quite the finance-minded one. No wonder he's my son, Robert's son." Liam's expression shifted. He bit his lower lip, held back, and said softly, "Dad, our younger brother already has 3 properties, while my sister and I only have 2.